Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to 100% Mags, and of course it has ended down at Killingworth Road, Newcastle United on the end of a defeat to Luton, a result that I was not expecting going into this game, I have got to say. Of course, we've seen Luton do well against the likes of Liverpool. We've seen them do well against the likes of, Man United. We've seen them do well against the likes of City, Arsenal, Killingworth Road. But tonight down there, Newcastle just looked absolutely piss poor. We were absolutely dreadful. Disgusting performance by our lads tonight down at Killingworth Road. Luton were fouling right, left and centre on Newcastle all game. 11 fouls they ended up coming away from that game with Luton, and they only ended up with one card, I believe it was, in the entire match. So, that in itself, well, two cards, sorry, in the entire match. That in itself right there shows you exactly, the mindset of the officials and the officiating team in this game, of course, tonight down at Killingworth Road, that they were not going to give any more, cards to Luton, even though Luton were just fouling people right, left and centre. There were so many times Newcastle's players were thrown to the ground or tackled into in the game. And, we're seeing Newcastle players doing tackles, and the Luton players were just diving to the ground. There wasn't really much in them neither, from what you could see on the match, watching the match. There wasn't really much in the tackles or even the little bits of niggling here and there, from the Newcastle players. And the Luton players were just going down dead soft in the game. But that's, no excuse for the performance that them lads put in tonight by the likes of our lads. They were just absolutely dreadful tonight. I don't know what is going on right now with my team, Newcastle United, right now. I don't know what is going on in the mindset of some of them players. But that performance tonight there down at Luton Stadium was not Newcastle United. It is not the Newcastle United we have come to know under Eddie Howe. It's not a performance that, I was very pleased with at all. There was maybe a couple of positives, but not on the performance side of things. There was some positives that we can take from the game, and that was that the fact that we got to see Botman play in the game, of course, coming on as a substitute for Lascelles, who now looks like he's picked up another injury problem. So there's another player to add to that injury table that's constantly growing, unfortunately, this season for us. Dan Burn, of course, went off on the 85th minute of the game. Lewis Hall coming on. Miley, unfortunately, ended up having to go off on the 38th minute of the game as well. Just purely, I don't understand that one, to be honest. I don't know what Eddie Howe's thinking was on that one, why he took Miley off on the 38th minute. Because for me, Miley was probably one of the players that was putting in the best performance in the game forward. So to take Miley off, I don't know what was going on there. I don't know what was in the mindset of Eddie Howe in taking Miley off, but he took him off. He put Isak on, and then we're seeing, Isak playing for some reason at times throughout the game in the DM role, playing the defensive midfield role, which is absolutely strange. Was happening quite a bit with a few different players in the match as well. We were seeing players playing out of position all over the place tonight. I don't know what was going on in this game. It really is. It's mind-boggling. It really is mind-boggling what has literally went on in that game tonight there. Because I don't know, what was in the mindset of the lads. They just didn't seem right. The passes weren't right. They were taking too long with their passes. Sometimes they were spraying balls for long passes when they should have been going for the easier option right near them. There was a moment in the game where Miggy broke through on goal, and he could have passed it off to Isak or Wilson, and he went for the left-footed shot. It went over the crossbar. Probably the best moment of the game for it, would have been the incident where, we're seeing the goal go in the back of the net through Isak. That, then ended up getting looked at on VAR in the game. And, of course, yes, it might have been offside, but I don't think it was offside as much as Peter Banks on VAR said it was. It did not look as far offside as what he was trying to claim that it was. But in my opinion, it did actually look offside, but not by as much. Maybe just a hair's breadth offside. But, I mean, that game tonight was just absolutely dreadful. We've got to get this form working on the road. I mean, we've been absolutely dreadful on the road this season. Some really, really poor performances away from St. James's Park. We need to get this tied down. We need to get this, working in our favour, because if we can't pick up the results on the road, then it is going to hamper our chances of getting into them European spots for, of course, to get into Europe again next season. So we definitely need to be doing something a little bit more intense on the road. We need to, I think, revert back to the way we were playing last season. I'm seeing a lot of the players playing differently this season to what we played last season. We're not really going in and hitting them hard on their counter-attack this season. We're not going in and pressing hard enough. We're not, getting that intensity that we were seeing last season from Eddie Howe and the lads. We seem to be playing more of a possession-style football, more to the like of a Manchester City, Liverpool style of football. And that's not what we want. That's not the kind of football that we are, accompanied to under Eddie Howe. If you get me meaning on that, it's not something that we've come to understand Eddie Howe doing. Eddie Howe's style, like he said, is the intensity is our identity. So if it is our identity, then we need to be doing intense play. We have not been getting that intense play on the road this season. We've been getting it at St. James's Park, but we have not been doing it on the road. So we need to do it on the road. We need to get these performances up on the road, going in our favour. But that tonight there, Kilnworth Road, probably, a lot of people might say it is a bit of a bold statement, but probably the worst performance I've seen under Eddie Howe since coming to Newcastle United. That is probably the worst performance I've seen from the lads under Eddie Howe since Eddie Howe came into the club. That was absolutely dreadful tonight. But, it was just a game where a lot of people would say it's an easy 6-pointer game, and with we're having Nottingham Forest up next as well, we needed to win this game so that we could then go into that Forest game with the confidence to then pick up another 3 points. Because for me, the Luton game tonight was 3-pointer, 6-pointer definitely, and the Nottingham Forest game, in my eyes, is a 6-pointer as well. So we've dropped 3 points here tonight against Luton. We've now got to go into that Nottingham Forest game, and Eddie Howe and the lads have got to show, that support towards the fans, give something back to it, because them lads and lasses have travelled down to London on a Christmas weekend, to support the lads, and they have not been given that, love back in that game tonight. That game was absolutely dreadful. Probably I'll go with seeing the worst performance I've seen under Eddie Howe since coming into the club. But enough of me talking, enough of me gabbing on. I'll have a quick look at some of your comments in the live chat. Jessica Noble, once again, thank you for doing the moderating of the chat as well, Jessica. Doing a fine job once again. We should have won. Luton, definitely understand that. my point exactly. John Clegg started slowly yet again. Cannot do that, especially where it just gives the home crowd a team a leg up. We'll work Forest different at home. Yeah, I mean, that was just absolutely dreadful. I mean, you know, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. But that, for me, that was just, I don't know, it was just really, really disgusting. And it was not Newcastle United. And you know me, you know, if there's a area, you know, where I've seen something positive in the game, I will talk about it. But there was not any real positives to take from it other than the fact of being able to see, you know, Sven Botman play a bit more game time, you know, see some of the other lads get a bit game time, you know, that have been coming back off of injuries. But that performance tonight was absolutely dreadful. Let us know your thoughts, of course, about it down in the comments below if you're watching on repeat. For everybody that is here, you know, watching this live, thank you for tuning in to watch this video, of course. Like Jessica Noble says, in the VAR check disallowed offside was shocking. I've got to say, I thought, you know, it was offside, but not as much as what, you know, Peter Banks said, Jessica. I've got to say, you know, I think Peter Banks over-exaggerated the offside, but I think it was offside, but not as much. You know, I think it might have been minuscule differences, you know, between being onside and offside in that game. But, I mean, that should have been 3 points tonight down at Luton, you know, against them. That should have been a 3-pointer for us. And, you know, we've dropped 3 points tonight in that game. But hopefully the lads will bounce back in the game against Nottingham Forest. We need them to bounce back in the game against Nottingham Forest. They need to show that love back to the fans for making that massive trip down there, especially on Christmas Eve's Eve. You know, definitely need to be giving that support back to the travelling supporters and to us fans at home, you know, who haven't been able to travel because of the busy time of year that it is, you know. But before I end off the video, I would like to say a massive thank you to everybody who has supported the channel this year. Thank you for the massive support that I have received to the channel, of course. And we are very, very close to getting to that 2K subscriber milestone. So if we can hit that before Christmas Day, I know it's very, very small amount of time now until it is Christmas Day. But if we can hit that before Christmas Day, that would be absolutely amazing. And it would mean a lot to me, of course. And it would show, you know, how much you appreciate the content as well that I put out on the channel on a daily basis. And of course, a massive Merry Christmas to everybody that watches this video, and of course a Happy New Year for 2024 as well. I'll see you all for the match preview for the game against Nottingham Forest, if not before that. Of course, there may be some other videos up on the channel as well. But till next time, I'll see you all later, and how are the lads?